Shadow comps are gaining popularity as a less contested and more often reliable alternative to Ocean Mage comps in recent high elo ladder matches. Since most Shadow comps power spike in the mid game or depend on getting 3-star units, here we take a powerful Shadow comp that easily pivots to an even stronger late game by pairing it up with summoners. The reliability and flexibility of this Shadow Summoners build makes it a great option to take out onto the battlefield. But first, I'd like to remind you to click on the link in the description below and take a look at the updated ProGuides.com. If you want to learn more about teamfight tactics, ProGuides will always have info on the newest patches, best builds, and strategies. There are all kinds of different resources available from top players to help you be the best player that you can be, including access to coaching, so make sure to check out ProGuides.com using the link in the description underneath this video. In this video today, we'll cover a high-performing build that runs Kindred and Yorick as its main carries, and consistently outperforms pure Shadow comps. There are two good early game options available for this build, which adds flexibility along the way, depending on which unit choices are presented to you in the shop. First is the Ocean Warden frontline, to go along with 3 backline summoners. This includes Nautilus and Thresh, 2 excellent units that can hold up an otherwise squishy team throughout the mid game. This is a great option when your lobby is showing aggressive auto attackers, and the early game units are shown here using the new Team Builder tool from ProGuides.com. The second option is to tilt towards Shadows early with Infernos. This is a nice option that's a bit more common to find, cheaper and easier to put together, and transitions just as smoothly into the mid game. This option is shown here with Kindred as the main damage dealer, Zyra to swing into the summoners a bit later on, and any other Inferno that you can find to fill in the synergy. Remember that Shadow units deal 65% increased damage for 6 seconds at combat start, which is refreshed on takedown, while Summoner units have 30% increased health and duration. We'll be working to build around these synergies by picking up key items on Kindred, who is both a Shadow and a Summoner, and so gets a double buff's worth of extra stats to become a crazy powerful mid-game carry. The early game for Shadow comps is similar to most other comps. You do want to have a good balance between being as strong as possible with the minimal amount of gold invested, and an easy way to transition to your target comp's mid-game. To do that, we've got a number of great one-cost early units, and to keep an eye out for are Zyra and Diana. They're both Inferno units that can be replaced later by Kindred, Varus, or Annie. Excellent 2-cost units to keep our Varus and Malzahar. Both are often found in the final lineup of this Shadow comp. And Thresh is another 2-cost unit that you should pick up and consider holding on to early, since Thresh and Nautilus form that very strong mid-game frontline. The only 3-cost units I'd consider holding early are Kindred, maybe Kiana, and then Nautilus if you go the option Warden route. Kindred as our key damage dealer, of course, you'll want no matter what. Kindred is just a very strong mid-game unit, and then Nautilus is that great mid-game tank that is often also brought all the way through to the late game. 3-cost units are expensive, and you should only hold on to the most important ones in the early game. There are 2 ways to think about your early game with respect to this Shadow comp. You're either hard forcing the Shadows early, or you're transitioning into them from another comp given what you find early and along the way. This flexibility is a very strong selling point for players looking to pilot this build. For the hard forcing Shadow player, the biggest signal for you to go all in on the early Shadow path would be if you are able to find a few Kindreds early on in the match. An extremely critical note at this point is to scout your lobby and check to see if other players have already picked up a Kindred or 2, as they're already fairly tricky to find. The best item to build early for Shadow comps is a Locket of the Iron Solari, which is built by combining a rod and a chainmail. Lockets are very strong because you get a huge shield that covers up to 5 units, and the shield gives your team immediate value to quickly tip the scales of battle in your favor. By this we mean that when enemy units die faster than yours, the chances that you win the round increases dramatically. In addition, Lockets are very strong in the early game, saving you critical HP and enabling win streaks to further boost your income. Through levels 5 and 6, Scion can substitute in as you're looking for your 3rd Shadow unit, and he does just fine transitioning through to the late game as a beefy frontliner. Your primary mid-game goal is to 2-star all of your Shadow units, and especially Kindred. Not doing so can make for a very rough mid-game. Luckily though, the key Shadow units are at most 3-cost and easiest to find in the mid-game around levels 6 or 7. The best way to 2-star your Shadow units is to get to level 7 as fast as possible and only roll down when you're at level 7. As such, the best way to econ is to save up gold and maybe intentionally lose some rounds in stage 3 so that you can get to level 7 in early or mid stage 3. Then you'll want to roll down after you've saved up enough, getting back into that 40 or 50 range. Keep in mind that you can't always econ aggressively to get to level 7. Sometimes you'll need to roll at 6 to avoid taking too much damage. So while we have mostly offensive items, scout your lobby to see if you might need a Bramble Vest or Dragon's Claw to counter enemy threats. In the late game, you'll be looking to add in a Yorick, and when he gets on your field, make sure to position him in the wings so that he doesn't get bursted down right away. Yorick's effectiveness in fights is getting off multiple ultimates, so between maintaining good positioning and then giving him a Guardian Angel, we look to maximize our odds of getting this going in our favor. Master Yi comes in later as our 7th to swap out for Sion as our 3rd shadow unit for the late game, and in some cases though, you'll need to keep a strong front line to survive against tough brawler teams like Berserkers or Preds, so situationally it might actually be best to wait until your overall damage output is higher before rotating out that Sion, or at least wait until Yi hits 2-star. Last, we're looking for Nami to complete the Mystic passive with Yi, and this is when you'll have another couple of options depending on your lobby. Nami is a fantastic source of crowd control and team buffing. She gives bonus on-hit damage to everybody that her wave passes over, and this includes all of the summoned creatures that we want to have on board. So we definitely want Nami, but the option will be either to rotate in a 2nd Ocean unit, a great option here being Nautilus if you've got him hanging around from earlier on, since again he'll get the Warden bonus to share with the Mumu. Or pick up another damage dealer such as Zed, who will be lethal in addition to our other threats. Try this one out for yourself and let us know your results in the comments below. And make sure to check back right here on the ProGuides.com Teamfight Tactics channel for the newest guides in Set 2 and beyond. Make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube, and use the link below to head on over to ProGuides.com, where you can always find tons of great resources and coaching from top players to help you be the best player that you can be. So make sure to check out ProGuides.com using the link in the description underneath this video. Again, I'm Vincent Grand. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.